Hi y'all, it's Bradley the Singing Chef coming to you with another side dish recipe that I use, gosh, once or twice a week if I'm honest, because it's just an easy go-to side dish that actually keeps for a while. If you put it in the fridge, bring it back out again, throw it in the microwave, it is good to go. And that is some wonderful roasted vegetables, specifically some roasted root vegetables. I can't even say it one time fast, so I won't try it three. It's a pretty simple recipe. I hope you will enjoy it, so let's get started. All right, the two root vegetables that I'm choosing to use today are the two that I use most often. That's a carrot and a parsnip. Now, if you're not familiar with parsnip, it's sort of like carrot's cousin. They look very similar, just one is orange, one is white. But they are broken down a little bit differently for this recipe. So I thought I would share that process with you today as we roast the vegetables together. Now you can do any root vegetable you want to if you wanted to do, say, turnips or beets or whatever. All the flavors that go with these roasted vegetables and the tip of the oven and everything is pretty much the same for any root vegetable. But these are just the two that I go to most often. All right, so you can see here in a bowl, I've already peeled some carrots and parsnips already to get us going. And more than anything, you just want to make sure that whatever you're chopping is about the same size, the carrot and the parsnip pieces. Now, I slapped the word rustic onto that little title for this so that knife chops aren't necessary as much, that they be all even. Like I said, I call myself the singing chef, but I am not a chef. I am a home cook. And rustic, as long as it gets done and on the table and is making people's bellies happy, that is all I care about in this particular recipe, okay? So the knife chops aren't totally important as far as size goes for them to be completely even because it is a rustic dish. But you do want to make sure that as far as in consistency to each other, they're about the same size because you want them to cook all the way through at the same time. Okay, so let's break down each one of these. I've already peeled this carrot, okay? Don't need to see me do that necessarily, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop off the two ends of the carrot, toss that in the trash over here. Now, you can see, towards the end of the carrot is far thinner and the edge is thicker. So I'm just thinking about sort of the density of the carrot. So I'm gonna roughly cut the ends that are thinner into larger chunks that are like that, because it's still about the same amount of carrot as the larger discs at the other end are going to be. Curl your fingers in there, get those chopped up into your bowl. Now, I am going to peel this parsnip because this is what it looks like. It's sort of a beigey color when you get it in the packaging. But once you peel it, it's this beautiful white that you saw in the bowl over there. So I'm just going to quickly peel this parsnip up. A lot of restaurants these days, I feel like fancy restaurants are making parsnip purees a lot instead of like mashed potatoes, like with a steak or something. So it's a very versatile root vegetable that you can use anyway, but roasted you really get the true flavor of the vegetable a little bit more, so that's why I like it that way. All right, just like the carrot, I'm going to cut off the ends of the parsnip. Now the thing you'll notice with most parsnips, I'm going to get closer to the camera for this. Just like the carrot, it's got a smaller end and a much thicker round end, right? And you can see right there in the center, maybe you can see, there's like a little core in the center. That piece of the parsnip is far more fibrous than the rest of the parsnip, and it doesn't cook as well when you're roasting. So we're gonna core this, and I'm gonna show you how to do that to get rid of that core that's more fibrous so that you have the best part of the parsnip in your roasted vegetables, all right? So the thinner end, just like the carrot, doesn't have a ton of core in it. So you can honestly chop it into smaller pieces just like you did your carrot and go ahead and toss that in the bowl. Now this other larger end that has the core in it, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it down lengthwise to half it, mainly so I can get a flat surface. And again, I'm gonna show you this. In the center of the parsnip, there's that core running right down the center. I hope you can see. That's what we're gonna try to get rid of, okay? So now that I cut it lengthwise, I'm gonna take a half on the flat side. That's gonna be the safest side to cut from. And I'm gonna cut it lengthwise as well, right through that core, okay? So now the core is gonna lay towards the edge of your knife, and then you can just run right in the center on an angle, and that core comes right out, just like that, leaving you the non-fibrous piece of parsnip to chop. Take your other quarter of parsnip, again on that sort of 45-degree angle, cut into that core, pull it out, toss that away. Same thing with the other half, lengthwise, in the side, cut out the core. The other quarter, turn it 45-degree angle, cut out that core. Now you're left with the best part of the parsnip to cut, which you can do just like your carrots, just trying to make sure that the pieces that you cut are about the same size as the carrots that are already in your bowl. Chop these through real quick. One more. Great. So that is all the carrots and the parsnips. I just tried to make sure I had an even amount of both. All right. So we are going to add some spices and some herbs along with some olive oil to coat these veggies, okay? The herbs that I've chosen to use today are rosemary, which I love, and some thyme. Rosemary is so woodsy and just, oh my gosh, I love it so much. But the thyme is going to give you a little bit of a lemony herb flavor. Now, if you don't have fresh herbs, you can actually use dry herbs. However, I would suggest in order to release the oils in the herbs, first of all, make sure that your herbs haven't been sitting in your pantry for like a year before you've used them, because they're just not going to be nearly as fresh as you're going to want them to get some flavor. But the other thing I would say is to take those herbs, put them in the palm of your hand, and then over your bowl, rub friction with those herbs to release the oils, and then let them drop into the bowl. Otherwise, you won't get nearly as much flavor. All right, so for my fresh herbs, I've got some thyme. I'm just going to strip the leaves off of the little stems, running against the stem, direction of the leaves. I've only got like 3 or 4 of these, and that's plenty. You don't need a ton. You can spend time doing a lot more if you really wanted to. Great, that's plenty of thyme. Same thing for the rosemary. I'm just going to strip those leaves, pour it into the pile along with the thyme. And then at the exact same time, you can run your knife through both herbs. Firmly hold that blade so you're nice and careful. Great. There you go. You could also add a minced garlic clove into this recipe as well. I'm not this particular time because the other things that I have cooking already have some garlic flavor in them, and so I don't want to overdo the garlic for me or for anybody else who's eating. All right, so take your bowl with the root vegetables in it, give it a good drink of olive oil, good pinch of salt, pinch of black pepper, then your rosemary and your thyme go in the bowl as well. clean hands. Toss all that around. Get everything coated in the oil, and the herbs and the spices. This already looks good and it's not even cooked. It's beautiful with the orange and the white parsnip. Those flecks of herbs in there. I love that. All right, so what I have here is a prepared baking dish. I've put aluminum foil on it. That's gonna make my cleanup at the end of this so much easier because after I take all the vegetables off the aluminum foil, I just crinkle that aluminum foil up, throw it away. All right, and then a quick rinse on your pan and you're good. All right, pour all these veggies out onto your pan. If there's extra oil, go ahead and dump that in there. It's got lots of the salt and pepper and herbs in it. Then you're just gonna zhuzh these around so that they're in a flat layer on your baking dish. And you're gonna put these into an oven of about 425 degrees or so, up to 450 max, I would say. It's only gonna take maybe 20 minutes for these to cook. You may wanna check them about halfway through, see if you wanna toss them around to get them flipped over a little bit so the other side gets a little bit of crispiness on the outside of them as you're roasting them. And then you should be good to go. I'm gonna go pop these in the oven and I will see you in a bit. Hi y'all, I'm back. It's Bradley the Singing Chef. Just wrapped up roasting these beautiful carrots and parsnips. They just came out of the oven, so I'm gonna oven mitt it up so I can get these off of this tray. You can see with the aluminum foil, there's no sticking to the pan. It's just gonna come right up. So let's see how non-clumsy I can do this. I have to admit that I tasted one before I turned on the camera just to make sure that the salt and pepper was okay. And trust me, I had the salt and pepper nearby, but I didn't need it. There's plenty of flavors in these. You know, another way that I've done these carrots in the past, not the parsnips, but carrots, if I was in an Indian flavor mood, is I use curry powder along with the salt and pepper and olive oil. And oh my goodness, they are good that way as well. Today, I'm gonna have this version. This is a super easy side dish. I hope that you will take some time to make it. Let's get the video off. Oh yeah, you guys. You know, I've made biscuits and fried chicken, breakfast casserole. Everything's probably seemed pretty beige in my repertoire, but I do make food with color. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? Let's have a taste. Oh my goodness, so good. There's not a bit of actual sugar, like granulated sugar in this recipe, but these carrots and parsnips are so sweet. You would think that there was like at least a drizzle of honey or some sugar of some sort, but it's really just the natural sweetness of the vegetable that's coming through in these roasted vegetables. You can see there's lots of little brown bits and crispy edges. Brown food is good food, brown food is flavor. You're gonna wanna try this. Super easy side dish. Like I said, it keeps for quite a while. You can put this stuff in the fridge in a container, take it out, throw it in the microwave. You are good to go all over again. I'm Bradley the Singing Chef. I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with the masses. Would love as many people here in the kitchen with me as I can possibly get, so that we could have a lot of fun together, make some great food. Thanks guys.